Frank Mir, now 41, is back in action this weekend on the Jake Paul vs. Ben Askren undercard. Originally, the former two-time UFC heavyweight champion was going to face Antonio Tarver on his boxing debut, but now he will take on former IBF cruiserweight champion Steve Cunningham, a man who has fought Tyson Fury in the past. Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir had a legendary feud in UFC. Mir is famous for many wars over the course of his career, but perhaps the peak of his fame came when he handed Brock Lesnar a loss on his UFC debut. After attempting to make it in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings, whom he got cut from at the last possible point and he might have made were it not for a motorcycle injury, Lesnar decided to try his hand at UFC. This wasn't just a passion of Lesnar's that he was famous enough to try out a la CM Punk, he was built for it. Yes, Lesnar had gained fame as a WWE prodigy who accomplished virtually everything in just 2 short years between 2002 to 2004. But, he was also an NCAA Division I heavyweight wrestling champion. Not too many men bring that pedigree to the octagon. The pair had an infamous rivalry. Big things were expected of Lesnar, and to jump straight in with Mir said a lot. In the build-up, Mir had plenty to say about Lesnar's fame in the fake world of professional wrestling. Lesnar came out all guns blazing and made a tremendous start, securing an early takedown, then raining down punishment on the cocksure Mir. However, the eager Lesnar made one mistake and gave the technical Mir the only chance he needed. At UFC 81 in February 2008, Mir found a kneebar that forced Lesnar to tap, leaving the WWE icon embarrassed. The kneebar from Frank Mir that sealed Lesnar's fate. Following this, Mir would go on to win the interim heavyweight title against Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira at the end of the year. Lesnar bounced back with a victory over Heath Herring, and then his star power earned him a shot at Randy Couture's heavyweight title, which he won with a second-round knockout. This put the two men back on a collision course, and you best believe Lesnar was frothing at the mouth to get a hold of Mir. The crowd booed him, so he returned the favor with commentator Joe Rogan pointing out, "That's not going to win him any fans." They met at UFC 100 and Lesnar refused to touch gloves before the fight. He promptly demolished Mir in 2 rounds, but as Mir was recovering from being knocked out, Lesnar was in his bloody face screaming at him. The former WWE champion proceeded to stick both his middle fingers up at the crowd after they booed his lack of sportsmanship. He refused to endorse the beer that sponsored the event because they hadn't paid him, an event that netted him $3 million, and he said he'd torn a lucky horseshoe out of Mir's butt and beat the hell out of him with it, in some wild metaphor. After the event, UFC boss Dana White was furious with Lesnar and scolded him backstage.